What you are seeing is nothing. Whatever is on the social media is nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean it, because I lived it. I asked everybody there, what do you want from us? What do you think they said? Speak about it and tell people that we exist and that we are not leaving, and this is our land. There's no words to describe what I saw and lived. It was 8 days in Gaza itself, and it was 2 days of travel. 1 day it took to arrive, and was 1 day they moved us, and there you don't argue at all. Whatever they tell you, you do. Just to give you an example, we were in Deir al-Balah, the Mustashfa Shuhada al-Aqsa, the martyrs of al-Aqsa. It's the only still functioning, if you want to use this word, in the middle of Gaza. Because Gaza, there is 3 parts. There's the north, where Gaza city, and there is the middle, which is Deir al-Balah, and then there's the south, which is Rafah, which now everyone is talking about it. We ended up also in Rafah 1 day. So the what I saw from the day we arrived in the border to the trip, and just to give you an idea, we arrived 1 hour before the World Kitchen car, and they took exactly the same road we took. We arrived at 8 o'clock to the hospital. They brought them dead at 9 o'clock to the same hospital. It's the thing I'm going to try. The reason I'm speaking about it, and I'm going to speak about it in Dallas, and Sunday we have a program with the 2, the physician and the nurse who went with me from SoCal, is not only to make you feel sad. Sad is not the word. There is no word to describe the feelings. What you are seeing is nothing. Whatever is on the social media is nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean it, because I lived it. What I want you all to do is 2 things, and this is the main, actually 3 things, because I asked everybody there, what do you want from us? What do you think they said? Speak about it and tell people that we exist and that we are not leaving, and this is our land. It's everyone. I spoke, you name it, because I speak Arabic, walillah alhamd, so it was much easier. So whoever I see, I speak to. And I'm going to share whatever I can share with you, because, and then inshallah on Sunday we have presentation. We're going to put pictures and videos. First thing I want to tell everybody is, when you want something, Allah will give it to you. From the day I heard that there is groups going to Gaza as physicians, I wanted to go. And I can't tell you how many applications I filled. No one answered. And I was like, subhanallah, ya Allah, you don't want me to go. There is a reason. And then just the second day of Ramadan, as I was flying to Jeddah, a friend of mine said, fill this application. So I filled it. I thought this is going to happen. In 10 days, I didn't hear from them. I was like, subhanallah, again, ya Allah, you don't want me to go. And I hear people going and coming back. I have friends who went. And then finally, subhanallah, made me remember. This is why I'm sharing this story with you. He made me remember. There was a post on a group I am with for this, maybe 3 weeks before I remembered, that there is a physician who went there. They put her picture, and she was saying all these things. And they put her phone number in that group. I just texted her. And I said, is there a group going? I want to go. And she said, oh, Haifaa Younis, you really want to go? And I said, yeah, I do. She said, okay. I can take you on the 15th this week. Now a group already left. I said, I can't. I only have the last 10 days of Ramadan, because that's the only time I take vacation. I have to be back on the 15th for work. And she says, I don't know. We have to, there's a lot of approvals. It's not like you just decide and you go. She said, you know what? I'm going to apply. We're going to have approval from 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And even when you get to Egypt, put in your mind that you may end up not getting to Egypt, or you will not get to Gaza. There's nothing guaranteed. They keep reminding you, there's nothing guaranteed. And I said, fine, I'll do it. So I fly, walillah alhamd, arrived Egypt, walillah alhamd. Next morning, we left the hotel at 4 a.m. There's stations, they have to make sure you are checking, a lot of issues. We ended up in the hospital at 8 p.m. The journey took about 14 hours. And we were, walillah alhamd, all of us were fasting. That journey, other than it's long, it wasn't an issue. You haven't seen anything yet. Before we left, they said, expect nothing. This is actually the messages we were getting. There's no food. Literally, they said, there's no food. Bring with you whatever dry you can eat. So we all packed protein bars. And then take something to make the water healthy to drink. So it's like capsules. So that's what we packed. And then they said, anything else you can bring, that you give it to people. And that's what everybody did. So we arrived at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. It was dark. There's no electricity for 6 months. Since October 7th, there's no electricity in that part of the world. And the reason the hospital has, because there is a generator. So we entered, we couldn't see much because it was dark. They took us to a building, which was the hospital administration. And we get there, exactly 8 p.m. What were they doing? Absolutely, in Jama'ah. We dropped our bags because no one welcomed us. We dropped our bags and we joined the Jama'ah. So they did Isha, right? And they did all Taraweeh. And every ruk'ah in Taraweeh, I had no idea who was leading, but everybody was reading better than the other. They changed. Then I came to know who they are. Every ruk'ah, they read 2 or 3 ayah. They didn't do it too long. You can't, because there is noise on top. I didn't know what it is. There's a constant noise above us. Every verse in the Quran that talks about patient, steadfasting, Jannah, you heard it. Amazing. Amazing fiqh, amazing knowledge. And I was like overwhelmed. And everybody in scrubs. So it turned to be the director of the hospital, the director of the nursing, all the big people in the hospital were the leaders. Room, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. I mean, the room, this is a palace. This is a palace to what I saw. And he welcomed us and said, I'm sure you all are hungry. Of course we're hungry. We had only dates and it's Ramadan. He said, okay, we prepared iftar for you in your rooms. Me and you, iftar in the room. And I have pictures, we're gonna show it to you on Sunday. And he said, we're not gonna, I'm sure you're all very tired. They gave us dates and a coffee, which is something is like you pay $1 million to get. Said, let's go and rest and tomorrow we will take you and we'll start the work, okay? So go to the room. What is the room? I have pictures of it. It was me and another physician from DC, and then the men. So they put us in the room. You have 2 options. Either you sleep or you sleep because you're exhausted. And then they knocked on the door after and they said the iftar. And the iftar was 1 can of hummus and 1 can of beans. And because it is us, they got us a bread. So of course we're hungry, so I ate. Spent the whole night throwing up. Yeah, the spoiled woman coming from America. That's who we are. That's who we are. I'm sharing the reality with you. And then alhamdulillah, we woke up in the morning, right? Don't ask me about the bathroom. Don't ask me. Next door opened and a woman comes out, literally next door, dressed, of course, I didn't see a hair in the 10 days. Allah is my witness. I did not see any woman not covered properly. I didn't see jeans. I didn't see anything. If anything, there was scrubs of the hospital. On top of it is the white coat. So the woman opened the door welcoming us and she says, me, this and this. I'm actually a surgeon, but I'm displaced from the north for the last 6 months. And I'm living in this room. The room is a little bit bigger than where I am sitting. Half of it is stuff, we don't know what it is. She and her son. Where is your husband and the rest of the family? They stayed in the north. They didn't want to leave the house. Do you still in contact? She said, yeah, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Smiling, surgeon. And she said, welcome to Gaza. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Next day, they took us to the tour, and here we start. How many of you are physicians here in this room? How many have been in hospitals for whatever the reason, right? Normally, when you enter a hospital, what do you see? Right? There's usually an entrance, a parking place, right? Norm. And there is some maybe grass, maybe flowers, cleanliness. And then there's the main entrance of the hospital. There's usually corridors, right? No, not in Gaza. It was all tents. From the door open up till I get to there's two main buildings. One is the ER and the hospital, and the second building used to be the maternity hospital. They changed it completely, the trauma center. It's like this and this. From here, this is the gate. From here to here, it's all tents. Sometimes you say, please excuse me, I need to move. All these people are human beings like you and me. And they are living in these tents. Then you enter, and on my left, and I see this simple mattress on the floor, and there's a woman in her 50s. I paid attention. I was like, literally on the door, like on the door. I didn't speak to her at that day yet. So we went, and they start showing us the hospital. What do I see? I have actually a video of it. When you get to the second floor, because that's where we are going to be mainly working, you start seeing the hospital beds. And what is on these hospital beds? Every injured person. Most of them have no limbs. The target is on the legs and the hands. And Dr. Jawad, he will show, there is pictures. I said, don't put it, this is too graphic. But most of the young men, the target is toward their legs. It's amazing cruelty. Amazing cruelty, subhanAllah. And you turn on the right, you see this. You turn on the left, you see this. Then we go and says, this is the place for the children. Where is the children? Then you go to the NICU, the only clean place for the NICU. She said those were from before we closed the maternity, and it was looking okay, alhamdulillah. Then they said, let's go to the ER. And they said, I'm an OBGYN, so the OBGYN hospital is about 15 minutes from here, but we don't think it's safe for you to go there, so we'll keep you in the hospital, and any emergency comes to the ER, you will take care of it. I said, okay, whatever you say, I'll do. I'm here to help any way you see me. So we go to the ER. That scene I've never seen. So to get to the ER, this is the building. You have to go through, this is all tents. You have to go through like a corridor. The corridor on the right, on the left, people on the floor. It's like you are sitting. I don't know, these are displaced. I don't know, these are family. I don't know, these are patients. I have no idea who these people are. Every age you see. A lot of women, a lot of children, but also you see much less older people and definitely much less younger men. Then you enter, and this was supposed to be the ER. Literally, like you are now, if I want to walk, I have to say, please excuse me, please excuse me. People are moaning, people are bleeding, it's beyond. Then they took us to, they said the ER, they took us to the head of the ER department. His room is smaller than this. I don't know how the man is functioning, honestly. All these people who are head of departments in that hospital, they have not gone to their home, slept in their home since October 7th. Everybody, everyone was telling me, especially in Ramadan, we may go for 2 weeks, for 2 hours, break the fast and come back. Don't tell me shower. Don't tell me shower, there's no water. We were lucky because we were in a hospital. I don't know what they did, but everybody was clean, at least the people who are working in the hospital. So we go in there, and they said that he was explaining to us that the ER is divided now because of this into 3 parts, green, yellow, and red. The green is like outpatient, yellow is less serious, and the red is the ICU. The ICU, I went there, again, I have a picture of it. And look at me, I was like, okay, there's a patient vaginal bleeding, can you give me a glove? They look at me. They do. And normally here, you say, size small, or medium, or large. And I need a sterile glove, not in Gaza. Whatever they give you, you take it. Large, I said, give it to me. There's nothing under the bed of this woman. Nothing. There's no sheet. It's I can't tell you. So I examined her, and alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, and the family was with her. It wasn't something serious. As I was examining her, next, like a curtain, next They just brought somebody who was, because the norm is they bring people who have been bombed, shell, you name it. So they brought, I don't know, but I'm hearing the person with her. She was, I think, a young girl. The one with her, the girl was like not shouting, but she was crying. She was in pain. The person next to her was reading to her Quran and says, this is not what we do when we are in pain. This is what we do when we are in pain. Wahidillah. This is, you keep hearing this. And the real Muslims, you hear them. Wahidillah, say la ilaha illallah. And he reads Quran to her. Subhanallah. Then I met the first physician who I spoke to, who I posted yesterday on the social media. He's an orthopedic resident, highly, highly educated. And when you, literally, you can sit with this young man for hours speaking. And I said, what do you feel? I asked him, actually. You know, from everybody. We are in a survival mode. We don't have a time to cry for the people we lost. You know, when you hear this, like look at your faces. Imagine I'm hearing this, and in front of me, and I see around me blood everywhere, injured everywhere. And then he said, and I kept asking people, if you go back to the October 7, do you want it to be different? Majority said no. You would be so surprised. They said, because somebody has to do something. Someone has to remind people we exist. Someone has to, people were in jail, in an open jail. Yes, we were living okay. We were living in good, not by my and your standard. I mean, there was food, there was family, there was relatively peace. But somebody has to know that this part of earth belongs to us, and they need to know we exist.